right, that should mean that I am live. And my audio should be coming in loud and clear. Give me just 1 second to prepare. And there we go. What's going on, Diffusers? It's Grace's host, Kaine Walker, back with another episode of the Monkey Paw, episode 36, where we document the downfall of mainstream Western entertainment. I am joined by my host, myself, and I am doing well tonight. You know, I'm pretty thankful that after last stream that some stories started coming in pretty much right after, because the week of has been pretty dry unless I missed something, which is entirely possible. But I've been scouring Twitter and YouTube as well as other sources to try and find at least some recent news on what's going on in the entertainment sphere. So forgive me if I have missed something. Do not be afraid to suggest anything that you think is worthy of coverage down in the comment section or Twitter DMs, link in the description. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into our first topic. There's not really much else to preface. Let me go ahead and find my... There we go. We're going to jump right into it with our first topic. Let me expand the chat first. I don't think I need to see. I don't need to see the mirror on the back end. You guys just let me know if... Oh, no Soups tonight. He's a little bit under the weather. I won't get into it, but hopefully he'll be able to join me next week. Thanks for joining, Alan. What's going on? Hey, can you see the article fine enough? Do I have to zoom in, or is anything weird? Matter of fact, I'll just do it. I'll just do it preemptively. That's about increased by 20%. So this first one is going to be coming from Eurogamer, talking about Avowed, and it says the big Avowed interview. Obsidian on why full open world RPGs aren't always the answer. You can't ever fully escape the expectations that come from your own history. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, you don't get to choose your audience, right? But the other thing is, it's not unreasonable for them to want the same thing you're known for from you, you know? So expectations are the name of the game, especially when it comes to creating entertainment for other people. So, I mean, you made the bed. I actually haven't read anything pertaining to this interview yet, so I'm going to be learning just as much as y'all as I go through it. So, all right. What a difference a few weeks make. It wasn't that long ago that question marks were still hanging over Obsidian's coral-colored role-playing game, Avowed. Promotional trailers had left people unconvinced, showing an adventure that looked old-fashioned and lacking in originality. I think that's a bit of a cop-out, you know? What the heck? I think I just got some sort of notification. My bad, I got distracted. I think that's a little bit of a cop-out, because generic doesn't necessarily mean bad, you know? I mean, generic games have their place. I really don't think that was the majority of complaints levied toward Avowed. There were a lot more complaints. They were saying that the game was subpar for Obsidian. And we don't expect every game to outdo your magnum opus, that being Fallout New Vegas. But for Christ's sake, we expect the fucking environment to be interactable and not like still life. You can leave scuff marks on the background, but nothing actually falls over when you strike it. That's pretty fucking terrible. It doesn't help immersion at all. It's not about open worlds not being the answer. You just have to do it well. And you didn't, which I'm assuming you're just going to run cover for. You know, Very few creators have any humility nowadays to be like, damn, I missed the mark with the fans. I'll come back at it stronger next time. Nope. They obfuscate. They blame the fans. And they make like hundreds of excuses for why they came up short. I don't know. But we'll continue. Yet weeks later, Avowed has wide acclaim. It's one of this year's most pleasant surprises, I wrote in our Avowed review. It's a game that went from being under suspicion to an unlikely Xbox star. Obsidian has proven 3 times in a row now with Grounded, Pentiment, never heard that word. Oh, is that a fucking, are these games? Grounded, Pentiment, and Avowed? I've never heard of these outside of Avowed. That it can produce the goods consistently for Microsoft and do it in a way that's less risky than betting everything on each project it makes. In stormy seas, Obsidian's boat seems blessedly buoyant. We'll see. At Obsidian, we've always been very upfront that we make very ambitious games, but we don't have 400-person teams. We are working off a budget. Avowed game director Carrie Patel tells me in a video call, it's a limitation I think it took many people, myself included, a while to understand about Avowed. Some had assumed that as the studio's first game bankrolled by owner Microsoft after years of independence, it would have significantly more resources available to it. Forgive me if I mispronounce something, but that wasn't the case. I don't even know the budget for Avowed, so that could very well be true. Was the budget that small? If so, why would you hype it up this much? I don't know. Avowed very intentionally has a focused scope, Patel says. This isn't a game where we're trying to create an endless playground that players can sink hundreds of hours into. Then why the fuck did you make an open world game? What? Why did you make an open world game then? Why? And for the record, this isn't an open world game like Infamous or Prototype. This is an open world game that was supposed to be comparable to Skyrim. Why would they go this big if it wasn't meant for the player to sink hundreds of hours into? Or at the very least, dozens. Like, what are they talking about? This is something where we had a very clear experience in mind. We had a story to tell. We had several corners of this very beautiful world that we wanted to take players through. And we wanted to make sure that experience was dense, entertaining, and varied. Varied? That doesn't really... Okay. Okay, if you wanted the story to be varied, it might have done you some good to make a game that is open world with a lot of content in it. That way there are a lot of paths that the player could take. And so far, you seem to be wanting to put the player in a box, and that sounds very contradictory to this final statement. But there's been a lot of that going around lately, hasn't it? Firstly, with Doom Eternal, I showed some of the contradictions in that. Now this game. And I have a feeling it's going to continue, man. It's only going to get worse. They're going to be talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're going to promise one thing and then accidentally say what they really mean. And then when you get the game, it's going to be the complete opposite of what they wanted to lie to you about. If that makes sense. Essentially, they're performing a bait and switch, like in front of your face. Anyway. Wait. Oh, I already read this. Experience in mind, had a story to tell. Varied. There we go. And then players are going to roll credits, and maybe they'll start a new game. See, that's the thing. In order for people to want to start a new game, there has to be a replay value. That's why in games like God of War, you would unlock something once you beat the previous difficulty. It would encourage you to play the other difficulties in order to unlock more things. Complete challenges to unlock more things and abilities, cheat codes, and the like. so that you would have hours of content to replay. Like, I think replay value in the current industry is a lost art. There's nothing wrong with linear experiences, but again, like replay value, like what's getting me to start a new game. Like, there can be outliers like Darksiders 1 where there is no new game plus, which was a fucking mistake, man. That game was great. There's no new game plus in that game outside of being able to start a new game with the Abyssal Armor set if you found all the pieces. They should have really put a new game plus in that game, but I digress. There can be outliers where the game is so damn good that you don't need a new game plus and you don't really need a whole bunch of replay value. But like I said, that's a fucking outlier. That's very rare. Very rarely do games work so well that you just want to relive the experience again without any additional like treats at the end of the game. God of War, the original God of War series is another example of that, actually. But they had the good sense to actually put things that would encourage you to replay the game in it. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's a retro approach that she says players responded really warmly to. I was one of them. That part of it, that doesn't sound like the truth to me, man. Again, I've seen the gameplay before Avowed. I've seen the complaints. I've seen the demonstrations. I've seen everyone's problems with the game. No one is saying that, bro. I've been looking. I don't even trust reviews unless they're recorded anymore, because a lot of the videos I've been seeing contradict the comments on Steam. But when I read the Steam comments, it's just a whole bunch of like blowing smoke up the game's ass and it's not really critiquing it. It's just saying it was good and with nothing else. You know what praise sounds like? Just fucking meaningless praise. That's not criticism. That's not helpful. And it doesn't really tell people who are actually looking to get into a specific experience what to actually expect if you just say, oh, it's good. Excuse me. But there's no pleasing everyone. Obsidian has a long history, founded in 2003. It's made all kinds of role-playing games in those 20 plus years, from South Park games to Fallout and Star Wars games, and it has pitched ideas for many more. That legacy has a weight to it, especially when people perhaps preferred what you made in the past. There's a degree to which you can't ever fully escape the expectations that came from your own history, says Patel. There are those who compare Avowed to maximalist RPGs that try to offer everything, as she calls them, and wonder why her game doesn't have, say, lockpicking or kill everyone style full world interactivity. That is a problem, dude. That's like basic shit. Those are basic RPG mechanics. My mouse is messing up on me. There we go. Those are basic RPG mechanics, man. No, the game doesn't have lockpicking. I didn't even know that. Like I said, I've seen some gameplay, but none of them actually attempted to pick locks or anything. So, yeah, the game doesn't have... They said it here. Like, I'm not making it up. Like, the game doesn't have lockpicking. You can't kill any NPC you come across. I've been seeing that a lot in a lot of pretty much all of the RPGs that come out now. Which, I mean, that's not really surprising considering... forgetting Elden Ring. That's not really surprising considering the RPGs we're really looking for are coming from the same companies. Fucking, Bethesda, Obsidian. But still, it's a problem. Why are we going backward? Why are there essential NPCs? Why can't we just kill any NPC we come across? Why are you trying to pigeonhole the player in an experience that's supposed to be varied? I should be able to play an evil playthrough. Oh, I forgot about Velguard. They're not Bethesda and Obsidian, but you get the fucking point. Why am I not able to play an evil playthrough? I should be able to be the biggest dick ever in an RPG and still be able to beat the game. Fallout was able to do this, like Fallout New Vegas. And I'm sorry that this game haunts y'all, but it was one of your best examples. Why did you go backward? Like they thought through the game so well that you could kill pretty much every major faction leader and still have a way to complete the game. Like, even if you killed everyone, like the Legion, NCR, I don't even know if the Great Khans count, Powder Gangers, whoever the fuck, right? You still had Yes Man. Oh, Mr. House, of course. You still had Yes Man. And not only was he not really an essential NPC in the sense that you can't kill him in the way that they're doing it, where like you try to kill an NPC and they go down and shit. What they did with Yes Man is they actually made a lore reason for why you can't kill him. He's a robot and his consciousness is backed up to some kind of server or whatever the fuck. I forgot the explanation exactly. But his consciousness is backed up on a computer somewhere. And there's hundreds of Securitrons underground that are easily replaceable. So you can kill everyone else permanently, but if you try to kill him, he will explain to you that he can't really die because of that, right? So your choices are to ignore him or beat the game using him. And if you want to complete the game after you've killed everyone else, that's pretty much your only fucking option. So they thought through that far ahead. I don't understand why they couldn't do that with all the other RPGs they made, right? Because you could literally try to kill Yes Man. You could kill his Securitron body, fucking ragdoll it, loot it, whatever, throw it in a pit, and he'd come back days later because his consciousness gets backed up into a new Securitron body. Like, if you don't want an NPC to die, and if you want the game to be able to be completed, that'd be the way to do it. But for some reason, you can't kill any NPCs in Avowed, it seems like, until the game says you can, which is stupid. I should be able to break quests. I should be able to do whatever I want. We're moving backwards is the fucking point. Though there are decisions you can make in the game that affect hundreds and possibly thousands of lives, excuse me, I have personally wondered, for similar reasons, why Avowed doesn't have companion romance, a feature so commonplace in RPGs nowadays. It feels conspicuous by its absence. Well, according to Patel, doing romance and doing romance well are two very different propositions. You don't have writers. You don't have talented writers. What the fuck am I asking? Of course they don't. That's not the point. You didn't even attempt to put standard fair mechanics in your RPG. And you're blaming that on the suffering from success mean. Oh no, I can't bear the weight of the expectations set by my previously successful games. That's not a fucking excuse for this. It's a cop-out. As I predicted, I believe, a minute or two ago. This is a fucking cop-out. There's no reason to not have lockpicking. There's not a reason to make nearly all the NPCs unkillable. There's not a reason to make the environment fucking uninteractable. You can't knock a lamp off a desk, bro. It's like the shit is super glued. Ridiculous. There's no reason for any of that shit. I think I played RPGs that both did and didn't have romance, but far more of them had romance. So, like, that's basically a fucking staple mechanic. So, like, there's not really an excuse for that either, though I would give you a pass if you didn't have romance. I think I have to grant it because, I mean, it doesn't mean the game's bad if it doesn't have romance options. You know? But I digress. So far, the excuses are very pitiful for why the game didn't do well. And okay, this is a theory, but I can tell the game didn't do well because instead of talking about sales like they normally do. They're talking about the number of players reached for fucking for Xbox, Steam, and PlayStation, even though the game's on fucking Game Pass for free. They're counting Game Pass numbers, dude. Like that's fucking cheating. That's not a direct sale. You let people download the game and play the full game off of Game Pass for $10 a month. That doesn't fucking count. Anyway. Doing romance well means a few things, she explains. One part is ensuring characters retain their integrity when you romance them. What does that mean? And don't drop everything, their sense of self, their beliefs, the moment you show interest in them. It's always a bit of a letdown when you see a character who has a clear personality and goals and interests suddenly in the service of this romance that the player has embarked on with them, they now become the player's yes person, Patel says. Oh man, all right. Secondly, if you're offering a romantic path with a companion, you should also offer an equally compelling platonic path. Platonic paths are never compelling. What the fuck are you talking about? Platonic paths are never compelling. What do you want about? Then they just become a regular companion. What does that mean? How does a platonic relationship elevate them from the status of just being a normal companion? I need that question answered for this to make sense. Because it's a shame if romance is the only right way to really get to that full level of depth with a character. Again, what the fuck does that mean? What do you mean the full level of depth for the character? Like, I mean, I need that defined too. That shit doesn't sound like it makes sense, man. Because the character is still a character regardless of whether or not you're dating them. The only difference is that now you're romantically involved. Like, I don't know. Finally, Patel adds, a thing that I see a lot as a developer and also a player is the more you introduce romance as a mechanic and the more that you build systems around it and metrics and ways for players to bolster and measure their affinity and affection level with other characters. There's a lot of typos in this. With other characters, the more it becomes something people engage with as a system rather than as a relationship. Well, it is a video game. Why would you... Oh, God. It's a video game. It's not a real relationship. Like, the entire point of the romance option is to give the player some form of catharsis. Like, to make them feel good about something. I mean, you can make the romance options intricate. You can make the player fail the romance options. There's no harm in that. As a matter of fact, that'd probably be better. You can make the player work for it, because that's how it's supposed to work. But, you know, fuck it, I guess. Whatever. Treating a video game like a video game is a bad thing, apparently, and it's discouraging. I don't know, man. Like, you want them to have full-on AI girlfriends from Avowed? Avowed does have the option of a companion romance. However, it's just not signposted in ways we're used to. It will naturally arise if you talk consistently with the character in question. Character? Like, just singular? I wouldn't want to spoil who it is, but the point is that it will do so unexpectedly. You won't play for it. It should feel natural, organic, and surprising, Patel says. What? Okay, so a one-sided... This is so dumb. It should feel organic. Is that unless that is a veiled way of saying, what's up, Sham? Nice of you to join. Unless that's a veiled way of saying there's multiple love interests that could possibly fall in love with you, that's very shit. Because you're making it sound like it's one character, it's out of nowhere, and this person could just be smitten with you at a moment's notice and you have no fucking idea. That's not courtship. That is one-sided and possibly unrequited. How the fuck is that fun? This is doing romance well, Patel? Are you serious? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh boy. Romance could be in the air, but with whom? But managing expectations is something Obsidian has been doing with Avowed ever since it was first revealed in the summer of 2020. The Summer of Peace, that one? All right. Its first cinematic trailer teased the dark fantasy world that looked closer to this tone of closer in tone to Elder Scrolls than the extravagant pink and purple and orange world we eventually got. With confrontations inspired by the Balrog and Mines of Moria, watching the teaser now, it seems like it's for a different game entirely, and there's a reason for that. It was. Wait a minute. What? So Avowed was supposed to be a different game entirely? That explains so fucking much, bro. That explains so much. Where the fuck is the other game? I didn't even see the trailer for this shit in the summer of 2020. I have to look that shit up now. Not right now, but I have to watch it later, man. For the love of God. Why are developers doing this, bro? How do you heel turn in the middle of development to make the game completely different than your initial plan? And this is supposed to service the players, man. No wonder your shit failed. Amongst other things, but that is a huge reason. The original idea for Avowed was quite different to the game we have now. Originally, it was going to be a tonally darker game and play like Destiny meets Skyrim. Okay, I know a lot of people shit on Destiny. That might have been all right. I played a lot of Destiny. That might have been cool. Might have been. But I guess we'll never fucking know. Patel told Bloomberg in a recent interview. Oh shit, the actual interview. Hang on, let me see if it's any different than. We'll look at it after I read the rest of this article to see if the interview with Direct Lines is any different. But anyway, this cooperative multiplayer idea was a key part of Obsidian's pitch to Microsoft when it was acquired in 2018. So the game was supposed to be co-op. But man. I still do talk about how co-op is basically dead in the industry right now. No one makes co-op games anymore, as if no one wants them. Like, no co-op games outside of PvP. Like, there's no. Well, I guess that's not really a co-op game. That's multiplayer. Co-op is fucking dead. It sucks. There were earlier visions and designs where this was going to be a larger game, a full open world, and multiplayer was going to be a part of it, Patel tells me now. But open worlds and multiplayer take expertise and a lot of resources to make and a couple of years into development. Excuse me. Avowed was wobbling. Obsidian couldn't find a way to make the game multiplayer while still preserving the elements that work very well in a single-player RPG of the kind we typically make, Patel says, presumably meaning the choice and consequence in dialogue that drives Avowed. Now, I've seen the dialogue options, man. I'm kind of disappointed that this article doesn't go into the fucking propaganda and the other reasons outside of technical and developmental issues for the reason why Avowed failed. But, So multiplayer was cut. In fact, the whole game was rebooted in 2021, which is when Kaine Patel, who'd worked her way up at Obsidian through the Pillars of Eternity series and the Outer Worlds, was made director of the game. I guess this is the original cinematic announcement trailer. I won't play it here. I'll just continue. The other big changes Patel instigated instigated then, were downsizing from one large open world to a handful of smaller zones and changing the setting of the game. It was still set in the world of Pillars of Eternity. Yeah, Pillars of Eternity, Patel clarifies. It was just set in a different part of the world, and there was a sense that the direction it had moved in didn't feel entirely true to the IP anymore. There were different characters. It was a different part of the world. It was a very different story. But I probably shouldn't be too specific in case anyone ever wants to play with some of those ideas in the future, she says. By the time Avowed was re-announced in 2023, it looked like a drastically different game. In a ripping the Band-Aid off moment, as Patel puts it, Obsidian showed mid-development footage of a much more colorful looking game. Excuse me. Something that felt very different from what a lot of audiences were used to and understood very clearly in terms of like a very grounded, grim, serious fantasy. It is grounded, she adds. It is serious, but it's also very colorful. It's also very fantastical. A wrench in the plans, indeed. People were confused, and in the years following it, this confusion lingered. Was it still a Skyrim-like game? Whatever Obsidian showed, it struggled to convince fans about the new direction. We always had a challenge to define exactly what we were going to be, and to make that very clear to players, Patel says. So much of what works best about Avowed is the exploration, and that's not something that you can really easily tease in a 90-second trailer. Well, that's because you're focusing on the wrong shit. Obviously, exploration is a very big part of RPGs, but it's a video game, bro. Why motherfuckers not leading with gameplay? Like, you could show the large open world in a camera pan shot like fucking From Software did. You know what they led with in their trailers? Gameplay. And the world was still big as fuck. Bro, people are forgetting what the fuck a video game is. I have to put the fucking video out for that as soon as possible, bro. Shit is getting annoying. It's something that you have to be in the game experiencing for yourself. It wasn't until Obsidian put Avowed in players' hands at shows and press events that the reception began to warm. I don't believe you. Game Pass is an extension of this now, helping the millions of people who subscribe to dip their toe in and try Avowed without having to buy it separately, widening the audience potential significantly. That is not how that shit works. What makes you think somebody is going to play the whole game on Game Pass and be like, you know what? I think I feel like parting with $70 of my own money. No, motherfucker. That's not how that shit is going to work. No. Widening the audience potential significantly. You mean cooking the books. These are not... Game Pass players are not sales of the game's copies, bro. Stop counting them shits. But how large is Avowed audience? But how large the Avowed audience is? Patel is slippery. What? Oh, Patel is slippery about saying. I don't have a really firm metric, she says. I've certainly been very happy, and all the folks I've talked to, both at the studio level and at the Xbox and Microsoft level, have been very happy with the reception to our game. To the number of people playing it, the amount of time they're spending in it. Yeah, that does not sound like players. That sounds like corporate people, man, whatever. But knowing that some people are coming to our game through Game Pass, some of them are purchasing on a variety of platforms, I don't know that there is one specific metric or number I could give you. Okay, sure. Nevertheless, Patel is smiling, and it sounds as though Avowed has done well for Microsoft and Obsidian, and where there's success, there's often a desire for more. Patel hinted at a future for Avowed in a previous interview, saying, now that we've built this wonderful world, and also built this team strength and muscle memory around the content and the gameplay in this world, I'd love to see us do more with it. When I ask her about this, she says, I couldn't say anything specific just yet, but I know we've got a wonderful team that really knows and loves this world and has learned an incredible amount over the past 4 years about how to make a really strong RPG together. No, you have not, bro. No, you haven't. What exactly that means, it's unclear. In the near-term future, Obsidian is all hands on deck, focusing on getting sci-fi sequel The Outer Worlds 2 finished. I'm not even gonna lie. I actually enjoyed playing Outer Worlds, but I'm gonna put an asterisk on that. I gave the game a lot of passes because it was Obsidian's first attempt, or so I thought at the time. It was their first attempt alone at their own open world RPG. And I'm going to have to reevaluate that game. Well, not really. I had criticisms of the game already. It's just that I gave them a pass. Like, the game felt very safe. It was too fucking short. There were planets you couldn't explore. It just felt kind of half-baked, to be completely honest. But the reason I gave them a pass is, like I said, it was their first venture by themselves. So I assumed they didn't have a budget as big as they did for Fallout New Vegas either. But like I said, I could have been wrong about that too. And seeing what they did with Avowed, bro, I am not buying Outer Worlds 2. Fuck that. Nope. Not in a trillion years. This shit's not happening. No. We've got a lot of people who are transitioning onto their next projects, Patel says. It doesn't sound as though anything beyond bug fixing is happening on Avowed right now. But in the future, who knows? So no DLC in the works. Gotcha. It's also unclear what Avowed's apparent success might mean for the... How is it successful if y'all aren't reporting sales numbers? There's no future for it outside of bug fixes. And you keep fucking flexing Game Pass numbers. Bro, some of us know how to read between the lines, bro. You can't say all of that shit, tell on yourself, and then be like, well, the success. No, motherfucker. The game flopped. It flopped. You know it flopped. There's tons of reasons why it flopped. Stop it, bro. What's going on, Toast? Nice of you to join. I lost my place, my bad. I'll start from the top. It's also unclear what Avowed's apparent success might mean for the future of the Pillars of Eternity series. For instance, might renewed interest in the world of Eora reawaken it? Pillars game director and Obsidian design director Josh Sawyer still seems to be working on the tabletop version of Pillars of Eternity. And there's clearly a desire for old school CRPG experiences now, as proven emphatically by Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. Can't deny that one. Even though that game was definitely socially engineering the player. But you know, whatever. Or perhaps Avowed will be how Obsidian carries the Pillars name on. Patel considers it a Pillars game, though not a direct sequel to Pillars of Eternity or Pillars of Eternity 2. Man, I feel bad for those fans. Or maybe I don't feel bad for those fans, considering how bad they're fucking this up. But whatever. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. There's also a PlayStation audience still to be courted by Avowed, should Microsoft decide to publish the game there, which I expect it will. I asked Patel if she's tested Avowed on PlayStation hardware yet, and she diplomatically answers after a short pause, I have not. But the future seems bright for the game, and hopefully for the series as well, perhaps. Maybe. Fuck, man. Oh, man. The wonderful thing about the reception Avowed has gotten is it shows that there is certainly an appetite for new fantasy IPs. Not this one. Not this one. Nope, not this one. Patel says, I recognize that some of our players are coming from Pillars and Deadfire, but I think for the majority of people, this is their first time in the world of Eora. So it's heartening to see that there is appetite for that novelty, that players are interested in jumping into something new. It certainly gives us a lot of enthusiasm and optimism for continuing to be ambitious, continuing to introduce players to new worlds, and bringing them into the games we're making and the things that are exciting to us. I know we're always excited to try new things. Well, that's the end of the article. So basically, they made a bunch of excuses for why their game was subpar compared to their legacy. That's another thing. The game's successful, but you're getting reports that it's worse than than better games you've put out. You have a fucking quote under the tagline for this article. You can't ever fully escape the expectations that come from your own history. What does that tell anyone with a brain between their ears, bro? You can't harp on about the game's success and say this. I wish I would have gotten an article that actually showed some of the examples of some of the propaganda that was in the game. But that's on me. I didn't do adequate homework for Avowed. Because I'm sure it's fucking out there. But obviously there's LGBTQ propaganda in it. Matter of fact, I think I have a screenshot that I can dig up from a Steam review talking about an experience they had while playing the game. Give me a few seconds here. This is horrible practice. But I really want y'all to have an actual example to go off of. And I only need one example because it's indicative of other things anyway. So they don't just stop at one example. They never do. I know it's here. Where the hell is it? Where the hell is it? God, how long ago did I post it? Fuck. There we go. Found it. Let me go ahead and put it on screen. I didn't find the screenshot, but I did better. I found the actual Steam review comment. Let me go ahead and put it up. GameCat. Damn it. There we go. So here it is. As you can see, this is one of the comments from Avowed, and the topic's been locked. Another article came out related to this saying that they've actually been kicking people out of the Steam group for Avowed because they keep pointing out the DEI that's in the game. But anyway, here's the comment. Why is this game trying to push an abortion stance? With spoilers. There's a character you get a side quest from who needs you to recover items which you learn are the abortion drug of this game's world lore. And if you aren't just completely okay with these people being allowed to abort their babies, you're scolded by the self-insert companion and the NPC quest giver. All the dialogue options except one are trying to force you to take a pro-abortion stance. I just wanted to play video games. Why do you do this shit? There you go. I'm sure there's countless other evidence you can find if you happen to be some kind of denier. It's not like they can fucking hide it. Ever. But that does it for our first topic. And it looks like that link to that interview I wanted to look at is actually broken. Oh, up came up. It came up. It's too long. It's too long and it's pointless. Like, never mind. I'm reading the interview. It's nothing y'all want to see. Right there. Let's move on to our next topic. All right. This was another thing that came up about Professor Snape in shit. Is it a new movie or a new series? A new Harry Potter series? Snape got turned black. He's race swapped, and people have affectionately started calling him. People have affectionately started calling him Snape Dogg. Obviously, after the rapper Snoop Dogg, but here we go. Harry Potter's new professor, Severus Snape. Sorry if I butchered that. I'm not a Harry Potter buff. Harry Potter's new professor, Severus Snape, is black, and fans are losing their minds. I can't pronounce that. That's probably an African name. Will now be taking on the mantle, but his appointment isn't without some controversy. Why do they keep calling everything a mantle? Like, this Professor Snape is not a. It's not a mantle. It's not a fucking mantle. Like, Snape is a person. Like, he's not. You don't even have the superhero excuse. The character was described a certain way in the books, and now you're trying to fuck that up for people who've read them and watched the movies, actually. So now the movie people get some of this too. And like I said, I always sympathized with Harry Potter fans whenever people would fuck up shit from the book. One time they got Hermione's hair color wrong, and like the book fans were like really upset. And me being a comic book fan and a fucking a book fan, I wasn't into Harry Potter. I was into Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I fucking understood. Then Riordan does the same thing by making Annabeth Chase black, which I shouldn't have been surprised by that, because if I would have paid attention in the first movie they released for Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, they made Grover Underwood a black guy, which he's not black. He's a satyr, and Greeks are white as fuck. So I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. Whatever. Betrayal, a very common theme for authors nowadays. Fuck you, fans. Whatever. As teased by Deadline over the weekend, god damn it, what is his name? Asidu? That's what I'm gonna pronounce it as. Sorry if I butcher it. Asidu is reportedly finalizing the details to take on the character Professor Severus Snape in the upcoming Harry Potter series, slated to premiere on HBO in 2026. That shit is DOA. That shit is coming a year from now. DOA. And though that seems fine, only people who are going to watch that shit are reviewers. That's it. And though that seems fine and dandy on the surface, fans of the franchise have been in a serious tizzy over the announcement for a myriad of reasons. Chief among them, his race. That is an oversimplification, and I hate when motherfuckers do it. It's more than just his race. Like, Severus Snape has a snake. Severus Snape is a specific character. You describe the character a certain way. Fans have expectations. That is not their fault. That is the fucking author's fault, and you shouldn't blame them for it. If you tell me Snape is a white guy with whatever hairstyle that is, and you give me a black person, how am I fucked up for pointing out that this isn't Snape? How? Like, for God's sake, bro, there's the fucking report button on the Uber app if you get a driver that doesn't look like the fucking picture. But I suppose people would deflect that argument with, oh, that's real life. Fucking assholes. In the books and films, Snape, a professor at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, was a 30-something unattractive professor who had greasy black hair, cold black eyes, sallow skin, a large hooked nose, yellow and uneven teeth, and more. Based off optics alone, it's hard to imagine how Hollywood could turn someone as attractive as Asidu into the morbidly described character when he is aesthetically so far removed. Snape was also an infamous bully and anti-hero who held thoughts and beliefs and performed behaviors equivalent to that of a what? Equivalent to that of a wizard KKK member. Maybe that's something from the books. I don't know. I just find it very convenient that they chose KKK as the comparison. I'm ignorant. All right, fuck it. Maybe it's accurate. Which further makes this casting such a confusing choice. With that knowledge, it's hard for some fans of the franchise to imagine how certain storylines and motivations will play out now that the race of this character has been changed and they took to social media to express their displeasure. Speed Racer. Making Snape a black man is one of the worst things ever. One of the many fictional characters that should have stayed white. Bro, that sounds so brutal out of context. Shit, it sounds brutal in context. What did you mean by this? What did you mean by this? Black people can't be evil? Oh, I'm sorry. One of the many fictional characters that should have stayed white. Holy fuck, that's brutal. Oh god, that can be misconstrued in so many different ways, man. That's what the fuck? Yo, there was a better way to put that. Oh, there was a much better way to put that. Holy shit. Oh, man. Oh. I already read the tweet. I guess I'll read it again for the sake of continuity. Making Snape a black man is one of the worst things ever. One of the many fictional characters that should have stayed white, wrote one user. The Wizard Warriors. The Wizard Warriors. It just gets worse and worse. Oh, fuck. KKK should have stayed white. Wizard Warriors. The jokes write themselves, man. All right. The Wizard Warriors are about to dig up slurs we haven't heard since the 1800s. I'm gonna die. A cataclysmic misstep for his team. There's nothing good that could ever come from having a black actor play an infamous. Oh, fuck. Play. Oh. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. I'm fighting for my life, man. I'm sorry. Hold on. The Wizard Warriors are about to dig up slurs we haven't heard since the 1800s. A cataclysmic misstep from his team. Whoever wrote this shit knew what the fuck they were doing. Oh, you bastard. There's nothing good that could ever come from having a black actor play an infamous bully like Snape. Not in this digital fandom climate, said another. Oh, God. I'm in tears, guys. Holy fuck, I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Noted one other user. It's a no for me as a black girl who grew up loving HP. This is not the casting. Snape was a Death Eater. Think about him being a black... What? Huh? Think about him being a black death-eating... What? Why don't y'all clean up the quotes from the tweets, bro? Think about him being a black death eating. Think about it. Bro, these tweets were handpicked, bro. HP is an abbreviation for something else, bro. And it would be very ironic if the audience would be able to, draw that conclusion. Bro, they knew what the fuck they were doing when they wrote this. This is so exceptionally stupid. Please stop with the race swapping of everything for the sake of diversity. In the case of Snape, making him black literally changes the subtext of his entire story, said another. However, excuse me, I have a sneeze coming. Oh, excuse me. However, there were some who are looking forward to how Isidu breathes life into this new iteration of Snape and hoped that HBO would be pulling out all the stops to keep the young actor from enduring incessant racism from the diehard fanbase. Listen, you've made him endure enough racism. This is what everyone talks about when they say you're so woke, you end up, you fucking come full circle right back around to being racist again, bro. Right back around, bro. If it's true that he's comparable to a KKK Grand Wizard, you have no idea how tone deaf it was to race swap this of all characters, dog. Again, why is it racist to point out this character is white as fuck? For years, you told me this character is white as fuck. Why are you giving me a different version of him in a different skin tone? This shit doesn't make sense because it's a betrayal. And you're not doing this shit to minority characters. It's only ever one fucking way. It's only ever one way. You would never go for a white Miles Morales. It wouldn't happen. You would fucking riot again. I'm like in agony over this Snape casting because now a talented black actor has been handed a project no one wants and will be at the brunt of racist harassment for all for a show that will be forgotten and canceled after 2 seasons in the best case scenario, wrote one user on X on /Twitter. Excuse me. Nobody gives a fuck that he's a black guy in isolation, bro. No one cares. It's not about him being black in a vacuum. It's not even about the fucking actor. It's about the character. Quite frankly, fuck the actor. Has nothing to do with him. Motherfuckers go to the movie to see the character that they saw in the book. Who gives a shit who's playing him? As long as they look like the character. No one gives a shit. The problem is that he doesn't look like the character you've told me about for fucking years. That is not racist. Get the fuck over yourself. People want to act like they wouldn't prefer a certain race in a certain fucking scenario. For instance, when I go get my hair cut, I want a black or Hispanic barber. That does not mean I hate white people. When I go to a Chinese restaurant, I want Chinese people in the fucking kitchen. That does not mean I hate everybody else. When I go to a Jamaican restaurant, I want Jamaicans in the fucking kitchen. Mexican restaurant, Mexicans in the kitchen, etc. That does not make somebody a fucking racist. And I'm tired of this fucking stupid ass game. As if you don't prefer a different race for a different scenario. This shit is stupid. Oh, that's it? That's the article. Oh man, that shit was funny. That shit was funny as hell. Yeah, this show's gonna bomb. It's DOA. They're already race swapping. Key characters just like they did with that Percy Jackson show that nobody fucking watched. It's gonna go up in flames, bro. It's just how it's gonna be. Mexicans in the kitchen is gonna be my producer tag. All right, that's funny. Oh my god. Part of me wishes I got another topic that was similar to Doom Eternal, because I spent a good minute on that one. Hasn't been very many topics with that much history behind them. But, I mean, there'll be plenty of time for that whenever something else happens. Oh, wait. I guess there is something I could talk about, but I want to see if the footage I was trying to send actually prepared, and it probably fucking didn't. That's what sucks. Worst case scenario, I could just clip this part of the podcast out and then put the footage I wanted to show later in that video. But for now, a screenshot will have to serve, because with my Doom the Dark Ages series, this pretty much came out right after that, in tandem with all the things that I covered regarding the history of accessibility in gaming and all games needing an easy mode. Give me 1 second to prepare that before I move on to my next article, because I did want to talk about that tonight, because that shit is important. I tried to tag other people in it so they talk about it, but I mean, no one gave a shit, so you know, can't win them all. Excuse the silence. I'm searching for that screenshot. Ah, there it is. We're gonna go ahead and open that. I know, it's really quiet. I did pick a bad time to kind of stream too, because I'm like, I stream like 2 hours 2 hours later than I normally do. The reason is silly. I was watching House MD. I was legit watching House MD, and I was like on a very crucial episode, like a couple very crucial episodes. Before I knew it, it was fucking it was 7:30, and I needed to prepare my topics for the stream. God, House MD is a great show, bro. There's one episode so far that I fucking hate because the twist is terrible and it sucks. But overall, the show is still good. That shit definitely lost a point, though. That shit started out at a 10. It's a 9 now. That episode was unforgettable. Unfive-gettable. Unfive-givable. Excuse me, givable. Unfive-givable. Okay. You should watch House. You probably like it if you like medical drama. I've never watched ER. House, just I was seeing clips of it on YouTube, and just like with The Wire, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna watch it. All right. I figure this segment here will be like probably one of the most controversial, because, well, I'm late to it. This probably should have been covered weeks ago, but I'm late to it. I wanted to bring it up because it's relevant to the publishing industry and novels, and I had been neglecting that, even though this is technically also a writing channel. And I'm in the middle of writing stuff myself, so I wanted to start covering more publishing-related things. So here we go. This next one is going to be from Fandom Pulse, related to books. And it's going to be talking about Brandon Sanderson's latest release of his book, Wind and Truth. It says here, Brandon Sanderson savaged by fans for pushing modernism's and LGBTQ agenda in his new Wind and Truth epic fantasy novel. Brandon Sanderson was what many considered to be the last best hope for the epic fantasy genre after his Mistborn series and finishing Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. But in recent years, the TOR books author has gone woke, and fans say the current The Stormlight Archive novel, Wind and Truth, has gone too far. Many fans complained about a main plot line of a gay romance between two men, promoted in the book as if it is a positive lifestyle instead of the sexual sin that it is. By the way, this is how the article's written. This channel doesn't focus on the religious angle of it, but I mean, it's in this article. Just letting you know. That's not really the problem for me in particular. It's just the betrayal in itself, like just bending the knee to modern day political propaganda, ideology, politics, DEI, blah, 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 etc. Because it's a fucking trend. Like, it's just saturated literally everything. So, here we go. Moreover, it's noted the scenes are forced and out of place in a medieval fantasy setting, where it feels ham-fisted and modern. Wind and Truth comes after a blog post updating his stance on LGBTQ, as Sanderson has gone from a devout Mormon who refused to include such evils in his books to putting them as background characters in Stormlight Archives to acknowledge they exist, to actively promoting... Wait, hang on. Did I read that wrong? Oh, never mind. I did read that wrong. When in Truth comes after a blog post updating his stance on LGBTQ, as Sanderson has gone from a devout Mormon who refused to include such evils in his books to putting them as background characters in Stormlight Archives to acknowledge they exist, to actively promoting the sinful lifestyles. Sanderson posted saying, "My current stance is one of unequivocal support for LGBTQ plus rights. I support gay marriage, I support trans rights, the rights of non-binary people, and I support the rights of trans people to affirm their own identity with love and support." I mean, that's great, Brandon, but what the fuck does that have to do with this fantasy novel? "I support anti-discrimination legislation and have voted consistently along these lines for the last 15 years. I am marking the posting of this FAQ item at the encouragement of several of my LGBTQ plus fans, with a sizable donation to the Utah Pride Center and another to the Out Foundation." God damn it, bro. Again, what does all this fucking virtue signaling have to do with the book, bro? Like, how are they linked? Well, we know. I'm asking that rhetorically, obviously, but like, the point is that they shouldn't be. Like, this fantasy novel, I don't read that for fucking virtue signaling. That's not what the fuck we're reading this shit for. Fantasy is supposed to be the ultimate example of escapism. But now I have to get modern dayed in my fantasy setting. Oh boy. He continued saying this new stance would influence his books like the Stormlight Archives, saying, "I put LGBTQ plus people into my books and I will continue to do so." Excuse me. "Not because I want to fulfill a quota," lie, "but because I genuinely believe that it is right for the characters and is good and important and is a good and important thing for me to be doing." The plot lines in Wind and Truth push this agenda exactly like he said he was going to do on his blog, which has been criticized by fans of the series who have noticed the change. In the book, Relaine, I think that's how you pronounce that, is an outcast from Bridge 4 who suddenly becomes cross-species, romantically interested in a human male who's the most powerful man in Roshar named Renarin. The two are in such different scopes within their stories, excuse me, it borders upon nonsensical, or a viewer called it pandering on a page. In addition to a gay romance, Brandon Sanderson unveils an openly transgender character who seems to get no pushback for his lifestyle within the book. The YouTube channel Iron Seas made a scathing 2-hour review of the book and how it failed to live up to expectations of the prior books in many ways. But most of it fails in the use of modernistic tropes in the fantasy setting. They emphasize modern tropes, like the character Kaladin becoming the world's first therapist. My bad, I want to fucking... God damn it. I want to be able to watch this review later, just for, case study purposes. Excuse me. Where even the word is used in the text, throwing readers out of the immersion where the word didn't exist until the last couple hundred years. Yeah, the concept of therapy, therapist, the occupation, I don't even think the concept of psychology as we know of it in the modern world was even a thing in like medieval times, or what you would typically expect the time period of a fantasy setting to be. It'd probably be counted as fucking witchcraft or some shit, and you'd be drowned in a fucking river. But you get the point. It read, "How?" Ishar repeated. "What are you?" He gestured toward Zeth. Are you his spren? His god?" "No," Kaladin said. "I'm his therapist." I don't think I want context for that line. Another character calls Kaladin racist because of... Was that a word they used back then? Another character calls Kaladin racist because of his beliefs in one segment of the book, making it read like a modern woke person's blue sky timeline rather than a fantasy novel. It's pointed out that the word literally is used many times in the novel, and almost every major character is politically correct in acceptance of LGBTQ lifestyles, with none pushing back as if they're all a modern corporate environment. Excuse me. The writing and overall prose and quality, there's a lot more modern language that doesn't fit. The way people talk, it used to sound very medieval, or at least not modern. But now everybody talks really, really modern, the Ultimate Kahuna says on the Iron Seas review. With the book being a 1,344-page doorstopper, fans are rightfully disappointed to see Brandon Sanderson forsake his fantasy roots and delve into modern wokeism as this leg of the epic fantasy series comes to an end. Many have invested a lot of time into these books, only to get a bait and switch from Sanderson in The Wind and Truth. What do you think of Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive ending in What do you think of the Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive ending in Wind of Truth, adding LGBTQ themes and modernism? That should say Wind and Truth, but Leave a comment and let us know. And there it is. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this occurrence is because, again, this is a trend in publishing, and being I don't want to say victim, being on the business end of that occurrence more than once, even with a prolific prolific author like Brandon Sanderson, I think it should still be discussed. Because hell, if my favorite author can get it, so can everyone else's. It's really tragic. I don't know what motivated him to do it either. A lot of people seem very confused by his decision to put those kinds of things in the book. And a lot of people have complained, not that it's there in a vacuum, but that the story seems to center on these two minor characters when the audience is clearly there for other motherfuckers who were no doubt built up in previous books. I mean, yeah, it always goes back to money, right? But I would like to think, being the optimist that I am, believe it or not, that his motivations would lie in a deeper place other than just greenbacks. It just feels so hollow, so inhuman. Ah, shit. I guess I could read. God damn it. I wish I screenshotted more of these damn comments, man. I wish I did. I wish I could put the video on screen for you guys. I recorded 34 minutes straight of me scrolling through the fucking retweets of this next topic, and I'm trying to find that video in my phone. Because luckily, there is a glitch on Twitter right now where if someone deletes a tweet, if someone deletes a parent tweet on Twitter, for some odd reason, you can bring the tweet back up if you go to the retweets. And I know it's a glitch because even on the phone it says this tweet has been deleted, but when I click on it, the picture shows up for a brief moment and I can browse the fucking retweets. So that's how I ended up getting the 34-minute video of the responses to this next thing I'm about to show you. And the reason why I wanted the video is to show you the gravity. Put into perspective how much people hate this decision. Where the fuck is the video? Videos. There it is. All right, I found it. So now I can read. I can put this. I can put the one I have on screen right now. Right. So this is the tweet. Right here. The parent tweet is from D's Games, and this shit was tweeted out on February 26th. Every video game should have an easy mode, especially Souls-like games. I told y'all that this shit would come up again. Because it always fucking does. Very convenient that it's come out right before a Doom release. And motherfuckers are still bringing up Souls-like games. It's right before Doom and Night Rain's release, actually. Bringing up fucking Souls games again. Talking about how the game needs an easy mode. For whatever fucking reason. Stupid. Just to kick the hornet's nest, just to piss people off, just to rage bait. But here's the thing. They got a lot more backlash than they were anticipating, so they deleted the parent tweet. But the funny thing is, they didn't delete any of the fucking, they didn't delete any of the following tweets after the parent tweet. So as a matter of fact, instead of reading these shits off my phone from this video, let me see if I can do y'all one better real quick. Hold up. Let me see if I can do y'all one just a little bit better. Because we're going to go through these shits. I bookmarked these. I bookmarked them. I know I did. I know I bookmarked some of them. Ah, God damn it. Yeah, of course, the parent tweet's deleted. Fuck, how did I access them before? No. Fuck, I'm getting close. Damn it, what is a phrase I can search on to find it? Fuck. Oh my god, he fucking deleted the other tweets too. What a bum. God damn it. Yeah, he did. He did delete the tree. Fuck. Man, that is so fucking cowardly. All right, I got a couple of them. I guess I'll just show those. And I guess I will be reading some of the retweets off my phone after all. God damn it. Okay. So I think this will be enough for context, right? Let's go ahead and zoom that in. So I already showed you the parent tweet down here at the bottom from these games. Every video game should have an easy mode, and that's Narwit's response with the Holy Moonlight Sword from Bloodborne cutting the neck of the guy, whatever. All right, so he deleted the parent tweet, but some of the follow-up responses are still here, right? So somebody accurately points out not every game has to be developed for every player. And this guy says, so you alienate a crowd of people and cost your company sales. And this is an argument trotted out all the time whenever a game actually gatekeeps, like the developers stand up for the integrity of their game. And it's a shit argument because he's talking about Souls games, which have no trouble fucking selling, especially Elden Ring. And every time people have tried to do this stupid shit that he suggests, which he would know, having his finger on the pulse of the games industry, they alienated everybody. People would buy the game, like fucking longtime fans wouldn't buy the shit at all because they could see the writing on the wall. And then fucking normies buy the shit and they quit after a month. And the game fails. So goodbye, hardcore audience. And goodbye, I guess hello nobody, because like I said, the other people don't stay either. And then Horror Omarada replies saying, or you alienate the people who already play the game, don't make up for it in sales by appealing to those you alienated before and crash your IP altogether. This is literally a trend. A trend, excuse me. This is literally a trend. It happens every fucking time. This is literally a trend. It is impossible to make something that will appeal to everyone, and the effort will only yield the most bland garbage imaginable. Right again. Here's an idea, maybe don't play Souls games. FromSoft is doing fine without your input, my guy. Again, this is nowhere near the magnitude or the perspective to show you just how much people hate this fucking mindset, because I don't have that footage ready because it wasn't sending from my phone for whatever reason. I tried to get it prepared. It just wouldn't fucking send. But I'll play around with it and see if I can make a separate video just to show everyone and make the point. Why would I alienate the audience I already had in favor of an entirely hypothetical audience who doesn't give a shit about my specific niche? and who history has shown will continue to not give a shit if I attempt to pander to them. I wish these companies would ask that fucking question. This went on until March 2nd, by the way. March 3rd, I believe he either deleted the tweet in the afternoon of March 2nd or on March 3rd. I don't remember. Sometime in between there. Not every goddamn game is for everyone. I don't like Animal Crossing games. Not my type of game. Yeah, and no one's trying to say Animal Crossing should have a hard mode. No one is saying all video games need a hard mode. It's only motherfuckers saying all video games need an easy mode. Only them. No accessibility options popping up in Pokemon or fucking Animal Crossing or fucking Donkey Kong or any of that shit that is supposed to be like less skill-based. But it's all the fucking supposedly hardcore games like Doom Eternal, fucking Dark Souls, any fighting game ever, etc. And I'm actually going to see if I can pull up some of those retweets to just read them. What's going on, Skimbles? I haven't been reading anything lately, man. I'm going to explain that in a video I'm putting out, why I haven't been reading many books lately. Because I made a post on my wall kind of alluding to it a couple weeks ago. And it has to deal with mainstream publishing. All right, so like I said, I wish I could show you guys these tweets. But the first one from Taro Aro. A game for everyone is a game for no one. Correct. And then they attributed it to Jesus or some shit as a joke. Right. Masonic SpongeBob. Oh, wait. This person actually agreed with this trash-ass take, so I will be skipping them. There's something in Spanish that I can't read, so I'll be skipping that. Nah, just move on to another game. Said by Mr. Von Stugel. Terminally online leftist. In my opinion, a video game is the best when you don't get to choose a difficulty because you're getting the game the dev really wanted you to experience. That's also a great point. The intended player experience. They're trying to erode that concept. They don't want the concept of an intended player experience to exist because it makes them fucking feel bad. Remember that article we read a couple weeks ago about get good culture being toxic? I also made a post on my wall about the gamer privilege checklist. You should check that out if you haven't already. I might even make a separate video on that garbage. And it might just be a video about that website in particular because, like I said, they're one of the people who are recommended for study and following the concept of accessibility in gaming. Like they're like promoted as one of the people you should be seeing if you're looking for that sort of thing. So a video about them wouldn't be a bad idea. The post is still on my wall, like I said, though. Moving on to the next tweet. I feel really shit that you guys can't fucking see him. God damn it. JJ Max. No, just get good. LOL. There's lots of these. There's 34 fucking minutes worth. I did not get all the retweets, guys. There were over like 973 retweets on that motherfucker. He was getting lit the fuck up. I didn't get all of them. Overwhelmingly negative reception to that tweet, man. My face when boss pattern recognition is considered difficult. Oh, that's from Star Offering. Solamente Paco, another tweet in Spanish. Can't read that. Skill issue. Who said that one? Who said skill issue? Fuck. I didn't see who said skill issue. God damn it. Defeats the purpose of these types of games. Just go play Spider-Man or something. Exactly. Just play another fucking game. Maybe some things just aren't for you. That person had an indecipherable name, so I didn't read it. No video game should have an easy mode, especially AAA games. I might actually disagree with that. I don't see a problem with the original formula of having multiple difficulty options. I just don't. F every Souls game, same. Okay, that's somebody just hating on Souls games. F every Souls game, same slap every year. Somebody just said nope twice. The blue whale now has the set. God damn it. Sorry. I'm gonna read a few more of these. People are pointing out how you can make the game easier without the need for a fucking accessibility slider or a difficulty setting. Because it's a fucking RPG. Like, they put... First of all, Elden Ring is like one of the most accessible Souls games that they've ever made. Like, first of all, it's open world. I know he didn't specifically say Elden Ring, but also this could be said for any other Souls game. You can over level, you can soul farm, you could look up a fucking guide to get overpowered early. They put those shits out all the time. Like, there's ways around this supposed skill issue they're facing. That's not what it's about. It's about fucking something up. It's about taking away your fun. That's what the fuck it's about. It's about compelled standardization and changing a culture to suit them. That's what it's about. Something else in fucking Spanish. I can't read that. All right. Every Souls game actually does have an easy mode. You activate it by playing an actual good fucking game. Okay, that was another hater. Why do people hate Souls games so much, man? Another Spanish tweet. Fuck. All right. Every Souls game is easy if you just locked in and learn the patterns of a boss. It doesn't need an easy mode. Yeah, exactly. This is another good one from Takumi Fujiwara. I butchered the shit out of that, I know. Who needs well-crafted gameplay loops that have a learning curve that make it more fun and rewarding, exactly? When you can just add easy mode, I know, right? Somebody pointing out only kids play on easy mode. Like obviously the Japanese understood this. They showed a manga panel explaining this shit. I mean, like easy mode was literally made for small children. That's not a fucking exaggeration. Full-grown adults are asking for every game to have a fucking easy mode, dude. Games intentionally made to be difficult should have an option to remove the entire point. Exactly. The Hawker 2210. Like, some games are made with that in mind, and they should be allowed to exist without you trying to fuck them up. Go play something else. It's not that hard. I mean, the last 3 tweets in a row were just people saying no. Like, no other explanation, just no. I disagree. Just... Every video game should be as difficult as the designers intended, especially Souls-like games. Challenge is part of the experience, and watering it down defeats the purpose. There we go. I'll read a couple more because you get the fucking point. You get the point at this point. Somebody wrote a sarcastic one. Every book should have a separate edition that is written using only the 1,000 most common English words. Somebody insults him, which I don't agree with, but this is just to show how much they don't like this mindset. You are just stupid, really. Adapt every game for everyone. It's not the solution. What that was meant to say is adapting every game for everyone is not the solution. It's like that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where everyone is just amorphous gray blobs with no differentiations between them. And then Timmy puts on a pink hat and everyone loses their shit. Every toaster should cook every food, especially oatmeal. Oh, fuck. All right. If a game is too hard for you, then it's not for you. What's so difficult to understand? No, either get good or find another game that has an easy mode in it. Souls-like games work just fine without them, and having an easy mode would defeat the purpose of the game anyway. Another one in Spanish. All right, this last one, the next one can't be in Spanish. I can't read it. I can't fucking read it. I'm sorry, Spanish speakers. Every game should have an easy mode except for Souls like, oh, I disagree with this shit already. Okay, this one doesn't count. Every game should have an easy mode except for Souls like, I don't know what to tell you, man, but then being equally hard for everyone is what they're about. I don't even play them, but I know that much. A pause button, however. Do not put a fucking pause button in Souls games. Play some shit with a pause button. There's clearly a reason why there's not a pause button. It's the game demanding your attention. This next one from Tales from the Borderlands, all together. Like it's literally just typed all together, no spaces. This philosophy always bothers me purely from a perspective and disrespect towards the developer's vision to make a game more challenging. That there is no merit to the notion of creating challenge to improve the experience of a game, that it's somehow cheap. Yeah, I mean, regardless of whether or not it's a Souls game, this mentality should be combated. Excuse me. Because they're trying to make every game, they're trying to casualize gaming. That's essentially what they're trying to do. And when I say casualize gaming, I don't mean somebody who is perfectly fine with failing over and over until they finally win and they're just bad at the game. Being a casual has nothing to do with your skill level. It has to do with your mentality. If you're somebody who folds at the first sign of adversity, and first of all, you have to like the game to be willing to lose. Like, there has to be a draw. But if you're someone who doesn't like to work for their fucking nugget, you're a casual. If you want everything in the game handed to you, you're a casual. That's the real definition of a casual. Somebody who does not want to assimilate or participate in the culture as it stands. They want the culture to conform to them. That is a casual. A filthy fucking casual. That's them. This shit has nothing to do with being bad at a video game. This is my tweet. Fuck it. I guess I'll end it on my tweet. The one I fucking retweeted. Do not be fooled. This sentiment is about forced ideological change, not more options. This was always a lie. Yep, we'll end it there. There we go. I might record more audio for the real clipped out segment because I'll have the footage ready by then. But just one more time so everybody can see it. This was the original tweet right here. Every video game should have an easy mode, especially Souls games. I mean, there's no way I could have known somebody would fucking start this shitstorm again. Well, never mind. I guess there is a way I could have known, but like I didn't know like somebody would straight up post a tweet saying this shit again. I saw it from the perspective of the industry happening again. But yeah, like this conversation seems to never want to die because they really want people to fuck up their intended experience for their game. And they won't leave people to fuck alone to enjoy their own experiences and go play something else. Go play something else is not the answer they want. And it's very fucking irritating. Because the first thing they tell you whenever you complain about some shit not being the same is go play the old thing. Which, that's another video I'm making, talking about people who always tell you to go play the old thing and how that argument is shit. It's garbage. And it actually is speaking from a place of privilege. Like, unironically. Like, it's easy for you to say because you're getting what you want or what you fake like you want because you don't really like the thing that you're participating in. You're just consuming because you don't have any fucking standards. But I've rambled long enough. That is, what is that? 4 topics technically. That's all the topics for tonight. Be on the lookout for me dropping more individual videos in between streams. Don't forget to check out the links in the description so you can follow me on Twitter and, you know, just kind of peruse everything else I got going on there. And as more projects come out, I'll let you guys know on my post wall or maybe make a short update video or something like that. But other than that, this has been your episode of the Monkey's Paw. Thank you guys for joining. I am your gracious host, Kaine Walker. I am signing off, and I will see you all again next time. Peace.